What's up, guys? Sorry. Doing big doinks and Amish. I'm gonna play this to make sure that I can hear myself really quick on my TV. Really quick to make sure that I'm live. So, give me a second here to make sure that I can hear myself. Before we switch screens here. Sorry. Oh, I have the thing open too. Oh, wait a second here. Let me close myself. There we go. There we go. Sorry. Doing big doinks and Amish. I'm gonna play this. Okay, so we got it. We're good to go. I'm gonna play this in the background, but on mute, so we don't gotta hear that shit, so I can make sure I'm not fucking up. Alright, everybody, welcome to the stream. Oh, God. Let's get a picture of a beautiful health here. Hello. Let's get rid of OBS. Let's put it to the side here. Them big doinks, they'll give you. Sorry I'm so white. We're gonna turn that a little bit away. Oh God, I'm gonna die. Dumpy's dying, guys. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna take this, and we're gonna, oh, there we go. I don't know, I'm gonna close Discord, guys. Bye, guys. Oh, I love you dearly. Alright. So welcome to the stream, everybody. Party people, my rainbow readers, what is up? It is I, RaiinBow Reacts, and we are, ooh-wee, have I found something, interesting. So, let's just go over a few things. So, first of all, my hair clip's falling out. Let's fix that real quick. Shout out to Yokai Candy. They're on Instagram. They make these dope hair clips. You can custom get them for whatever you want. Shout out to her. I absolutely love Yokai Candy. So let's talk about stuff. I'm sorry I'm so white. I don't know why I'm so white. Let me fix that really quick. Oh my God, I look like a person with color. There we go. Hello. We're gonna turn that away too. Oh my God, I'm blind. Okay. Well, today's live dive is I am an alt girl. Alright, and, well, realistically, I have some, pretty, I like to think, normal and open views of the world, of being a, different kind of human being, particularly not, being one for tradition. We'll just put it that way. I have a non-traditional haircut, I got tattoos, I have a nose ring, I listen to thought music, you know, various things like that. Anyway, so today we will be live diving into a channel that I saw iNeighbor cover, and he was just like, okay, interesting take. Now, before we get into this, if you don't know who classically Abby is, she is Ben Shapiro's sister. And if you don't know who Ben Shapiro is he's a journalist for Breitbart News, but more importantly, he's a nut job. Absolutely batshit insane nut job. He will literally argue with you about anything. He'll argue that the sky is green and the grass is blue. That's pretty much Ben Shapiro's stick, and he doesn't care about your emotions. Facts don't care about feelings, he says. Ain't nobody like that shit. Get out of here with that. So, Ben Shapiro's sister has started this conservative influencer YouTube channel. Now, I did make a specific playlist of all the videos I wanted to watch that we are going to watch and react to. But before we get into that, classically Abby has a bit of a history herself. Now, I'm going to go and be the boomer I am, and I'm going to use Know Your Meme. Now we got lovely Miss Abigail Shapiro here. Here she is. Here she's... we'll make her bigger. What a beautiful, lovely lady. Absolutely stunning. She's gorgeous. Look at her. She's got a nice nose. Beautiful neck to shoulder ratio. Even the hair gives her justice. And I particularly don't like short hair on most women. So you got that going for you, honey. Alright. Now, Abigail Shapiro is an American opera singer and YouTuber who is the younger sister of conservative political commentator Ben Shapiro. After a video of Shapiro singing gained circulation on 4chan's poll board in October 2017, she became subject to both anti-Semitic remarks and horny posting with users on 4chan, 8chan, and iFunny posting memes and fan art. On July 31st and February 25th, Abigail Shapiro's father, David Shapiro, uploaded 2 YouTube videos of her performing opera arias, Hello, oh Margaret, It's You, and I'm gonna butcher this. I'm gonna frickin' butcher. I don't know. Anyway, we'll take a second to watch the lovely lady sing here for a moment. I seem to be losing. We're gonna fix this really quick. Sorry. Give me the fucking... I'm sorry. It won't give me that. 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. Why won't you open me the settings window? It won't open me the settings window. It's being lame. I'm so sorry I'm skipping frames, guys. We're gonna boomer for a second. We're gonna boomer. I'm so sorry, guys. I feel like Deadwing right now. No, and I'm not. If it skips, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't actually know how to fix Streamlabs at all. But we're gonna close some shit here. That'll probably fucking help. Cause we got some shit I've never seen open. I don't even have an iPod. Why are you running iTunes Helper? Or OneDrive? I don't even use OneDrive. Or Skype. I don't even have Skype. Please stop. Oh, God. Fucking hate Windows. Anyway, let's go back to what we're looking at here. I'm very sorry. If I boomer again, I'm so sorry. We're going to try to keep the bit rate down. You know what? I don't know why I don't have ad blocker on here. Let's get some ad blocker right now. This is my husband's fucking old computer. I definitely feel like Deadwing Dork the other day when he was just like, I need ad blocker. Why is there no ad blocker on this? I don't know what the fuck this does, but we're not even gonna bother that. I'm so tired of this. Anyway, I'm gonna stop this. We're gonna get back into this because I'm getting really fucking annoyed. Anyway. So anyway, let's watch this, we're gonna watch this video in a new tab. Not bad. Just got a set of pipes on her. I can totally dig that. Not too bad. All right. I mean, I can't sing like that, so I mean, I'll give her props that she can really belt out them jams. I like that she's a little sassy about it, so that's cool, you know. She's really getting into it, so that's cool. We're just gonna move on from this. Move this along right now. Well, Shapiro did not see online recognition until October 25th, 2017. A post highlighting her attractiveness was posted by an anonymous user on 4chan's poll board. In the same thread, multiple poll users expressed attraction to Shapiro, posting lewd anti-Semitic comments and referring to Shapiro's breasts as the Kaiser milkers. Ugh. Let's get that out of here. How the fuck did Shapiro hide his hot sister for this long? How has this entire video avoided becoming a meme yet? Ugh. Anyway, here's some fun jokes on our expense. Those cars are milkers. On October 30th, 2017, Forward reported an influx of anti-Semitic and misogynistic comments under Shapiro's YouTube videos. On January 31st, 2019, Abigail Shapiro launched a social media account for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and YouTube, known as Classically Abby, posting makeup, fashion, and lifestyle videos. She has amassed over 21,000 followers on Twitter, 9,500 followers on YouTube, and 7,500 followers on Instagram in 1 year. After October 25th, 2017 poll thread, Abigail Shapiro remained a popular subject of meme and fan arts on 4chan, iFunny, and other websites, namely in their localized anti-Semitic communities. In these communities, Shapiro maintains that the status of that of a waifu, with post memes and fan art often exploiting the premise of users abandoning anti-Semitic views for her. Her personal life is that she was born in 1992. She attended the Manhattan School of Music and is a trained opera singer and is considered conservative. And then she married a guy named Jacob Roth, which in some of her videos, he doesn't look like he's having too much of a good time. He doesn't look like he's having a great time at all. So, I mean, I'm going to turn on the live chat on my TV, so I can actually see what you guys are talking about, because I don't have another screen. The Kaiser milkers is used by users on 4chan, iFunny, and other websites to refer to the large breasts of Jewish women in general, and to Abigail Shapiro's breast in particular. The Kaisers refer to the Turkic people who controlled most of the Pontiac and Caspian Steppe Sea during the early Middle Ages. Realistically, this is probably one of my favorite memes I saw. The Virgin Shapiro versus Stacy Shapiro. Got Ben with the nasally annoying voice and the 5'7" manlet height, and constantly has to debate libtards and uses logic and reason, yet is not taken very seriously. And then you have Miss Abby over here with the beautiful singing voice, big boobies, and her, I don't know what this word is, and we're not even gonna find out what that is. Beauty turns even the most racist of white supremacists to causes of Israel, and has never debated a libtard. Alright, so that's a little bit about classically Abby, but even more so, I'm going to find a photo I can show you. So we're going to go back to the right back screen until I can find you one. Alright. I can pull this one off. Alright. Let's see. Now, you see this lovely outfit our girl Abby's got on right here with the kinky boots and the beautiful bra top and the lovely, very Fashion Nova shorts and the short hair. Now, Miss Abigail over here, particularly, is quite scantily clad, and there are quite a few pictures of her floating. Oh, I can't show that on YouTube. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. She's quite not modest here. So, we're gonna go dive into the world of modesty. And, just remember that this right here exists, ladies and gentlemen. This beautiful, beautiful picture of our girl, Miss Abby. I wish I had, you know, I wish I had a Sangy for this. Lol. Anyway, let's take a look at the small playlist I've made here of some videos.
Hello, beautiful ladies, and welcome to the.
So this video is called Nude.
The Scoop.
So this video is called Nude Protesting, Work and Life Balance, and Say Yes to the Dress. And welcome to episode 1 of The Scoop. I particularly picked this episode because she is talking about nude protesting, and I thought that was a little bizarre. But then again, maybe not so much for a lady dressed like that. The reason, I will explain the reason why this is funny. It is kind of funny because she is running a channel about modesty, and there are literally about a good 30 or 40 pictures of her naked on the internet. So, and she pretends like those don't go away, honey. Unfortunately. So why don't we go ahead and we're going to watch this video.
I have been thinking about creating a series on my channel called The Scoop. When I was in high school, we used to have morning announcements. And I used to get up in the mornings and I was in charge of announcing the school play, which I was in. And I would get up and I would make a small announcement. Well, over time, that turned into me giving small performances each morning to get people to attend the performances. And then it turned into something else entirely. My best friend at the time and I made something called The Scoop. We asked the administration, got permission, and each morning we would get up and we would give a fact and a tidbit. And we would call it, Here's the Scoop. We're giving you guys the info for the day. And it would usually just be something random and funny. And it was our way of bringing a little bit of joy to our fellow classmates every morning. Well, now I'm bringing The Scoop to you guys. I'm really excited to do something similar to The Scoop with you, because I'm not going to be doing just the fact and the tidbit sort of thing, but I am planning on bringing you a little bit of joy each week where we can talk a little bit more casually than the other videos on my channel, where I can give you a few updates of things that I've seen, things I've been doing, and we can just kind of catch up in the comments. I'm really excited about this because it's nice for me to...
So, off the rip, her toothy grin is very unsettling. Like, she's just smiling, like, way... Like, I get that you're excited, but, like, you are smiling, like, way too much. Like, it is just all teeth and no lip. All teeth. Ugh.
Just kind of catch up and talk with you guys. It's sort of like a chatty coffee talk. If we were all at a coffee shop together, this is kind of what that would be like. And so I'm really excited to just share this time with you guys in a little bit more laid back of a way. First, I want to talk about a pop culture thing I saw this week. So Taylor Swift released an album just kind of out of the blue. She decided to announce that her album was releasing at midnight, and it was going to be a big event, and she was also going to release one music video. So here's the thing with me and Taylor Swift. You guys probably know I used to be a big fan of hers. She kind of fell out of favor with me when she started becoming more and more of an SJW. I wasn't a huge fan of her music.
You don't like Taylor Swift's music because she's an SJW. Okay. Okay. Seems like you're already starting to dig yourself the hole. Oh God.
Music as it changed from country to pop anyways, but then when she started talking very openly about her politics and really alienating a big part of her fan base, I was just not interested in listening to.
Who's a big part of her fan base? Gun-toting, loving Southern people? I mean...
her music anymore. So when I saw this was coming out, I was a little bit interested just because, oh, it kind of came out of the blue, and how did she get all of this done during quarantine? But she did film this music video, which I watched. All I'm going to say about the music video is that it was very pretty. I thought it was very beautiful to look at, and the music was fine. It was okay, and it felt very cottagecore to me. That's kind of a term I see floating around on the internet a lot, so it was kind of warm and inviting until you get to the middle part of the music video where she's in the water and it seems like she might drown. Besides that, it was very pretty, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about Taylor Swift, if you were excited to see that she dropped a new album. Again, I'm not super excited about it. I might check it out and see if there are any tracks that I like, but the fact of the matter is she kind of alienated me a while back when I saw her documentary for Netflix called Miss Americana. I was not a big fan of that, and so I wasn't super interested in...
I don't think I've seen the Netflix documentary Americana at all. I don't really watch Netflix like that, so I'm not really quite sure what she's referencing. So we're gonna just skip ahead and see what else she's talking about.
You can create a story about that, but making such a great statement to me was not accurate. I looked at that and I thought, I don't know what you're protesting. I don't know what your point is here, and it doesn't seem to me like you're actually making a difference this way. This isn't really an argument, it's just you posing nude. So the idea that this would be iconic is silly to me, and I'm not a huge proponent of going out nude on the street as a form of protest. Maybe that's just me, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. So I also wanted to share some things I've been thinking about this week, just things that I've been learning and kind of sorting through, and I made this video about plastic not being perfect, and I kind of wanted to share a little bit more about that story. So when I came to my husband, it was really because I felt like the housework had gotten away from me, and the reason that my housework has gotten away from me is because I have been putting in a lot more time with my work. I've been making...
What? I've been putting in more time with my housework. I mean, we all do housework. I mean, do we have to brag about it on the internet? Is that something to brag about? I did housework. Yo, bro, me too.
Making 4 videos a week. I have been producing a ton of content, and it's just a big undertaking. And I've just been finding that my time for housework and just even spending time with my husband has gotten a lot less. And it is something that we're constantly talking about, right? This work-life balance thing that feels so difficult. And I've had this issue before, so it's not like it's a big surprise, but it is something that I feel like is going to just constantly be coming up. And it's...
Honey, what you're describing is what most Americans feel every day when they go to their shitty minimum wage job and go wage cuck for frickin', cheeseburgers or, barely to pay rent. You live in a beautiful home and you piggyback off your brother who happens to, be probably pretty well off considering that he is a very well-known commentator and all sorts of shit. So, I mean, you complaining about having a work-life balance seems a little first worldy, if you ask me. I mean, there are people, when was this published? A couple of weeks ago. There are people literally dying in the hospital with, the plague, basically, and you're over here complaining about your work-life balance. Honey, the only people that are going to understand that are other suburban cocktail moms, and not a single other human being who is struggling to survive in this horrible, horrible pandemic.
It's something that I think as a community of women we can talk about, because I know that I would love to have that really good work-life balance. It's really important to me, and it's something that I also said in a video about success for women is that work-life balance, is finding out what does work and making time for the things that you care about. So it's an interesting thing that I'm starting to experience that now, because I know I want to spend time with my husband. I know I want to get the housework done. I'm one of those people, let me know in the comments if you're like this, I have a hard time having mental brain space if my house is cluttered. If the house is cluttered, it feels like my mind is cluttered. And so I really like keeping the house clean. So when the housework gets away from me, it actually really does bother me. It's something that kind of gets in my way, and I feel like I've let myself down, and then I'm just not as productive. And so it is something that I've been trying to work on, this balance of the things that I am working on and then the lifestyle that I want to have. And I know it's only going to get more intense at the time that my husband and I do decide to have children, so I'm sure this is only a tiny little sliver of what it's going to look like in the future.
It's like if a Facebook mom group was a person.
But I guess that's just part of life, because I know that my husband has the same struggle. He has work and he needs to make time for his life too, so that he has that good balance and he can help me with the chores, or he can take over dinner some nights. But the fact of the matter is, I don't really love when he cooks dinner, because I feel like that is something I love to do. So when he does that, I always feel like, that's something that matters to me, and I didn't want him to have to do that. So that's what I've been feeling lately. And so I'm sure that this is something that I'll just keep working on. And I know that I waste a little bit of time in little pieces all day. So I think I could probably get better about that. But if you guys have any ideas, tips and tricks for when you're working from home, having that work-life balance, I'd really love to hear your guys' thoughts. I'll, of course, keep sharing how I think I can grow and be better about that, but I'd love to hear your guys'
We're going to skip ahead
too.
because she's just rambling on.
I'm really stressed about it. And I think it's because I never grew up with animals at all. It's been giving good tips, and even if it's in the bedroom, if the puppy can't see you, it's still gonna. But then as well, it's been talking about kind of like the daily schedule of having a puppy, and see how they manufacture the drama and all of that. And the way I'm watching it is that they have about 3 or 4 seasons on Hulu, so I'm watching some of them on there.
We're gonna move on and watch another video. This one is kind of incredibly boring, and I don't want to bore y'all to death. So we're going to go into an advice video. So our next video is how to attract the best man for you. Now, my take on relationships is be with whoever the fuck you want to be with. That's, unless it's children or animals, there's no reason you can't go love who you want to love. If boundless, you know, do whatever you want, you know. I'm totally for it. I've never actually watched a dating advice video, so I don't really have trouble in that department considering I'm married. So let's find out how to attract the best man for you.
Hello, beautiful ladies, and welcome to today's video, where we're going to be talking about how to attract.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even know the sound was that low. No wonder I couldn't hear it.
Have you ever been on a date where you got home afterward and you were just exhausted because you felt like you had been wearing a mask the entire time? That has happened to me plenty of times, where I just felt like I wasn't really being myself.
I do that every day, honey. I go out into public and I put on my clown makeup and I go out into the world and I just deal with the human faces that pass me by. That feeling is relatable, but also most people do it every single day. You are not particularly special. I'm very sorry.
And that can happen when you're with someone who you could even have a good time with, but they're just not right for you. They don't make it easy. It's not like you can really truly be yourself. When you're dating, you have to keep so many things in mind. But I thought we would talk a little bit today about how to attract that perfect guy for you, the kind of guy that you want. How to get the kind of guys that you're interested in you. And it is difficult. Of course, there is a lot of stuff when you're dating that is just out of your control.
Yes, no. I mean, realistically, I mean, when you are looking for a person to date or be with, I mean, it is kind of like a checklist. You gotta run yourself down all the fun tidbits of what you want in a person and who you want to be with. But you genuinely aren't just casually dating. I mean, we do have like a dating culture where people go on Tinder and then they hook up or they do whatever, and I totally understand it. I get it. But like realistically, people genuinely, unless you're some kind of sex weirdo or a deviant of some kind, you're not out here, just going on multiple dates, one after the other, looking for Mr. Right. So, I mean, it almost feels like this scenario is very surreal. Like, yeah, you just went on a date. It was exhausting. Then why would you even go on that date if you know it might be exhausting? Who wants to sit through a date with an exhausting person? That sounds absolutely fucking terrible, if you ask me.
And I don't think dating is by any means easy, but I do think
there are
certain things that we as women can do to attract the kind of men that we are interested in. And so I thought I would share
the kind of men I'm interested in. Got a nice doughy pizza body. They don't go to the gym. And they probably have an LCD tan. Moving on.
With you guys 5 different things that I think you can do to help you attract that certain guy. And so hopefully all the things that I'm talking about today are the things that are going to attract that guy who really does make you feel like you can be yourself. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is leaning into your traits, aka being extroverted or introverted. So I'm sure you've read about these different traits, being extroverted and being introverted, all over the internet. It's kind of
being extroverted and being introverted has nothing to do with your comfortability of going on a date. There are plenty of introverted people who prefer extroverted people because it helps them get out of their introvertedness. So it almost seems really silly for you to be like, oh, you're an introvert? I'm also an introvert. Because that can actually really lead to super, toxic, traits between each other. Being an introvert is not always a good thing, and it is not something that you might want to lean into, especially if you have a hard time dating.
Something popular that people like to talk about, and I never really put much stock into it until I really wanted to invest time and energy into my dating life. So I personally am an extroverted introvert. Now all of this sounds silly and jargon.
We call that an ambivert. Just use the word. I'm sorry it sounds like one of them transgenderism terms to you, honey, in your little country background. But I'm very sorry to tell you that the word for that is called an ambivert. You are both introverted and extroverted. If you don't know what an ambivert is it's a mixture of being extroverted and introverted, where the particular person may really love particular outings and love large groups of people and stuff, but they may take a bit of time to recover before they go out to another big outing. But they do enjoy large crowds and people and stuff like that, but usually in small doses, and they can usually go back and forth pretty well.
Ish, but the fact of the matter is that I'm very comfortable being outgoing, hanging around people, spending time socializing. I really love all of that stuff. But at the end of the night, I do need time by myself to refresh, to recover, and just really enjoy my alone time. My alone time is very important to me. But here's the thing about being an extroverted introvert. If you're an extroverted introvert, it means that the people who meet you are going to think you're extroverted because you're constantly in social situations when you're meeting people, and they are thinking that that's you naturally, that you are just an...
Or you could just be an introvert having a good time, being polite. There are perfectly good introverts who have a nice time. Nobody just assumes you're either an introvert or an extrovert. I don't go out, to my local hangout spot and go, wow, that person's an extrovert. I just say that they're a people person, or they're good with words, or they're having a nice time. What are you doing, honey?
An extroverted, outgoing person. This did not turn out so well for me in dating, because what would happen is that I was constantly attracting introverts. Extroverts and introverts are generally attracted to each other. It's like an opposites attract kind of thing. And so I was
Not necessarily. Some people genuinely don't want a partner that is like, oh my god, let's go out all the time, let's spend money, let's go here, let's go there. It can be like really exhausting. Like super exhausting.
constantly acting extroverted, and so introverted men were expressing interest in me, and I'm really not attracted to introverted men. So I was sending out all the wrong signals. I was sending out all the signals that were attracting the worst kind of guy for me. The fact of the matter is, I knew I wasn't going to end up with someone who's introverted because I loved being around men who were outgoing, who were extroverted. But they weren't really attracted to me because they thought I was also extroverted. And so it wasn't until I talked to a friend of mine where she said, you talk about how you're an extroverted introvert, but people who meet you are just going to think you're extroverted. Have you thought about trying to be a little bit more introverted when you go out, when you try and meet men? And it was like a light bulb went off in my brain. I was like, how did I never think about that? That's so funny. So when I actually went out,
wow, how did I never think about being socially fun in a social setting when I'm supposed to be having a good time? Wow, how did I never think of that before? Oh god, the revelations.
And started trying to be a little bit more introverted when I was around people, engage that part of myself in public, all of a sudden, I met my husband.
I really wish that I don't know if I have a video with her husband in it, but he genuinely, I swear to freaking God, he does not look like he's having a good time. Absolutely not.
Now, I don't know if those are totally equivalent, but I do sort of think that kind of accessing that introverted part of me attracted somebody who was so extroverted. My husband is probably the most extroverted person on the face of the planet. If he could be around people 24/7, he would be.
You haven't met Mr. Beast, have you?
That's how he recharges. And I am more introverted. It works for us because I'm great when we're around people, but I'm the person who's kind of calling it at the end of the evening saying, okay, let's let them go home, because he doesn't even feel exhausted or tired at all. And so it was really a lesson for me in engaging that inner part of me, that introverted part of me, when I was around people, so that when I was actually looking for men, I was meeting men and attracting men who were what I wanted, which was an extrovert. It's so important for me personally to be with an extrovert because I like that my husband can take the lead when I feel like, hey, I need to take a little bit of a step back, or I don't really know what to say here, or if I'm uncomfortable in a conversation. He's really comfortable in social situations, and I absolutely loved that. I didn't want to be the one taking the lead all the time.
That's what happens when your husband's a simp. Sorry, not sorry.
Now, if you are the kind of woman who is introverted, maybe bring that out a little bit more when you're around people. And
Abigail Shapiro is going to be the binding hug between Palestine and Israel.
And maybe you'll get more interest from extroverted men. Or the opposite. If you are a more extroverted person, but you kind of have social anxiety, maybe try and work on that a little bit so that when you do go out, you can be more extroverted.
Yes, let me just shove my anxiety somewhere else. Do you have a place where I can put them, Abby? I think that you do.
And when you are trying to attract men, you might attract that kind of man that you're more interested in, somebody who is a little bit more introverted and works with you. So really leaning into your traits, learning more about yourself so that you can attract your opposite is so important to finding that right guy for you. Now, what I will say is that not every couple has an extrovert and an introvert. There are a lot of couples where they're introverted or they're both extroverted and it works for them. So this isn't to say that this is a 100% always do this kind of thing, but it is something to keep in mind if you found that the guys that you are attracting aren't the kind of guys that you're interested in. So if that is something that you're noticing, maybe try putting this into practice in your own life. Next up, let's talk about the kind of dates that you go on. Make sure that the kind of dates that you're going on are things that you're actually interested in. Don't just agree to whatever he suggests unless you're really open-minded.
Don't agree to go to Applebee's, guys. Nobody wants to go to Applebee's. I'm kidding. I actually really like Applebee's.
Because if you're constantly going on dates that just he enjoys, then he's...
Honey, let's go to the shooting range.
It's not really going to see your personality. You're not going to see if you guys have similar interests. You're not going to see if you guys are both open-minded to trying new things. It's really important to voice what you like to do. Because if he's constantly attending events that...
Why do you even want to chase a person that's not even interested in anything that you're interested in? Like, what is even the point of that? Like, yeah, we get it. Like, that's, like, literally the number one freaking, like, rule of being with another person is you have to have something in common. If you don't have anything in common, it doesn't work. So, I mean, I get that, but, like, also, you should not be trying, I feel kind of talked down to, I'm not gonna lie, just a little bit. I feel like she's like, oh, here's a bunch of common sense things that you should already know, but, like, it's just common sense. Like, you don't be with somebody who doesn't match who you are. Like, I mean, there are plenty of people who are like, I'm in a relationship and, you know, the other person's not really for me, but I love them and care about them. And I mean, some people realistically don't have anything in common, and that's things that they love about each other.
that you're really not interested in, it's going to inform who he is and your relationship. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out on dates and be more adventurous, but it means if it's something that you don't like doing, you shouldn't do it. You should absolutely be open, upfront about the things that you like to do, because then he'll learn something about you. And
oh, honey, you were upfront about the things they like to do.
And you'll learn something about him. You might see what he finds really important. You might see that he is open-minded to the things that you enjoy. You might see that he's a romantic or something like that. Just constantly letting him decide what you guys are going to do, even if it's something that you're not interested in, is just not going to teach you a lot about each other. And that's really what dating is. And that's really what attractive...
That teaches me a lot about you. It teaches me that I don't like anything you like, and that I don't want to date you, and that you should get on out of here. That's what that says to me.
The right guy is finding somebody who you can learn about and see if you guys would be a good fit together. Because if you're constantly just kind of going along, he's not going to learn anything about you, you're not going to learn anything about him. And it's just so important from the beginning to really be using this all as a mission to find the right person. If you're taking dating seriously, those dates that you go on actually do matter. So if you're just going along because you don't want to say no, it means you're not really taking advantage of your dating time to learn about this man, to learn if you guys work together, to learn if you're attracted to each other, and to learn if you have similar interests or if you guys are open-minded to trying each other's interests. So it's so important to really be decisive and say what you really
For cute first date ideas, spelunking.
Really like doing from the get-go, because he'll appreciate it, because A, he won't have to make every decision by himself, and B, he'll really learn about you from the beginning. My third piece of advice is to be very clear about your physical boundaries from the beginning.
Oh yeah?
If you're not clear with your physical boundaries from the beginning, then you won't attract the right guy, because he won't know how comfortable you are and how far you're willing to go. If you are somebody who is...
Well, yeah, but usually on a first date, you're not over here being like, oh yeah, show me the pepe. I need it. I need you to show me your pepes.
waiting till marriage, it's really important
People still wait till
to put that out right at the beginning, because a good guy...
Did you wait till marriage, Miss Abby? Did you?
The kind of guy you want to end up with is A, either going to be on the same page with you, or B, going to respect that and say, okay, I'm on board because I respect you. And that is really important to attracting the right guy. That is not negotiable, because if you aren't clear with your physical boundaries, the fact of the matter is you may end up doing something that you don't want to do, that you would regret. And it's not because he did anything really bad, it's just because you weren't clear and you didn't even confirm it with yourself. That's really the first step, is knowing how far you want to go and then telling this guy that you're interested in where you are comfortable going. Because if you're not clear from day one, you guys will be on different pages and you will attract guys who are not comfortable uncomfortable with a girl who wants to wait till marriage, and then you would be halfway through a relationship and in a situation that's really uncomfortable, really not what you want. So to find that right guy and to attract him, being very clear with how far you want to go physically is just going to stop anything that would progress, but that would end up in heartache, because you would know from the very beginning, from day one, how far both of you want to go. It's
I am a firm believer of the not waiting till marriage. I want to test drive the car before I buy it. I particularly don't want to marry or be with somebody I might actually be sexually incompatible with, simply because if I have to spend the rest of forever with you and you are just not it or not about it, there are people out there that will give me it, and I can get it from not me per se, but in general. That's my logic. Like, why am I waiting till marriage? So you're telling me I'm just gonna wait like 15 years to lose my virginity to find a well-established man with really great what? That seems like an awful long time, you know? It seems like a really long time. I mean, considering that most people in this generation haven't really been like getting married early. I mean, what you're about the same age as me, so I mean, did you wait that long to do the naughty? Did you? Do I have to refer back to our lovely, beautiful photo of our sexy boots and our Fashion Nova shorts? Do I? Let's move on.
just incredibly important for you to know how far you want to go. When guys do express interest in you, you can...
I am going to say this. Please talk to your partners about what you want to do when you go on dates with them, and please always discuss what you want to do in relations with each other, because you may not be compatible. And you know what? Honestly, it is perfectly healthy and normal to discuss what you want to do. Absolutely. But you cannot expect any man in our generation to wait until marriage to score the sweet, meat. I'm trying to avoid not being... Don't demonetize me. I'm not even monetized yet. Yeah. Anytime she just keeps talking about, like, waiting till marriage, I think about that episode of South Park where they all got the purity rings. Ugh. Purity balls. Oh my god, don't even get me started about that. That's just a whole thing. Oh god.
And either figure out if that's the kind of guy you want to be with or not. And these are kinds of things that aren't something you want to mess with, because you don't want to get hurt, you don't want your feelings to get hurt, and you don't want to cross any lines that you're not comfortable crossing. So that's really one of the most important ways to figure out how to attract the best guy for you. Number 4 is dress for the man you want. It's like dress for the job you want. If you want...
Clearly I got the man I definitely wanted by dressing like fashion garbage. More sex.
Want a certain kind of guy, dressing in a certain way will attract that kind of man. If you're looking for a guy who's a little bit more professional, who has a nice job, you might want to dress a little bit more in a classic way. You want to dress in a way that he...
Any guy I talk to with a suit immediately thinks that I'm like the funnest person they've ever met. I kid you not. They're always just like, you're so spunky and fun and weird. The guys I talk to on the internet don't like girls like her. They're like, oh, you're so fun and different. My wife hates me and she thinks porn is wrong and won't sleep with me. And I'm like, I wonder if they watch Classically Abby's channel.
Would find attractive, that he would want in a partner, and that he would like in you. And if you're looking for a guy who's a little bit more casual, a little bit more laid back, wearing something that is more casual, that reflects that. Now, of course, these are things that you should know about yourself, right? Like, if you are the kind of woman who does like to dress casual.
I mean, it realistically depends on where you're going on a date. If you're going to a fancy restaurant, yeah, you gotta dress the fuck up. Dress to the nines. Do it up, sis. Look, slay, look good. Murder bitches with them outfits. But I'm saying if you're just going to like a casual like cookout and you're not just like wearing a cool sundress or just like some casual t-shirt and like leggings or something, like you dress for the occasion. That's like a given. Like if you, like every common sense person knows that you're not gonna wear your get up to the family barbecue. I'm just saying. I'm not going to like my family Christmas, you know, and why are you platforms and, you know, dolls killed onesie. That's just super inappropriate and just not this isn't the rave club, honey. Obviously, no, not to show our titties to grandma.
And that is something that you enjoy. You enjoy casual activities. That might be the kind of man that
you enjoy
want
casual activities?
You don't have to change anything.
I do.
But if you are the kind of woman who maybe dresses in a different way than you live your life and dresses in a different way than the man that you would want to end up with might dress.
You know what's really funny? There are plenty of guys who are different and weird and amazing in the world, and legitimately they rock that suit, they rock that tie, they rock them Armani slides or whatever the hell they got. They look fucking boss, okay? You don't need to be a boring Brian to just be absolutely fabulous and absolutely money and wealth and be a well-perceived, put-together person. You do not need to ever conform or, you know, be one directional or one way. Always be yourself. Be yourself no matter what. Don't tone yourself down for anybody. Don't give a single fuck. Just don't. Like, this is terrible advice. Like, oh my god, you should be, like, you know, prim and proper. Men with money don't want to talk to you. Honey, that is not true. I mean, not true at all. Talk to some girls on the internet. They'll tell you different.
Then that is something you should consider in the way that you dress. You should consider if maybe I should change the way I dress. Maybe I should wear more skirts.
Maybe I should change
dresses.
for a man.
Or maybe my skirts should be a little bit longer and not as short. If you're dressing in a way that is very immodest, you may end up attracting men who aren't really that interested in a long-term relationship. That's not 100% of them, but that is something that could come up because he might think that you are interested in something that's a little bit more short-term and not long-term because you're dressed in a way that doesn't reflect your long-term goals.
You are not dressed in a way that reflects your long-term goals. You've got... Yes, my long-term goals are to become old and a boring Stepford wife like you will be one day. And not in the good way. Boring people don't age well. You're immodest. Men won't talk to you. Your shoulders are out and you got a big butt and your feet are showing. Oh, God. Your feet. Sweet toe meat.
But if you're looking for a guy who is wanting to get married, who he looks at you and he thinks I
wants to get married to that sweet toe meat,
exactly like this, and she looks lovely, then you would be absolutely up the right alley with the guy that you'd want to be with. So it really is important to dress for the kind of guy you want to attract, because men have different preferences too. We have different preferences, so do men. So we might as well kind of feed into that a little bit. Play the game in a wise way.
My preference is the man I marry doesn't wear cargo shorts. I mean, yeah, they're great and stuff, but I mean, does every weird dude in creation have to wear cargo shorts? You're like, oh, there's a lot of pockets in them, like a whole lot of stuff. Bro, why do you need to carry a whole, like, death's worth of shit in your pockets? Just saying.
Way so that you end up with the kind of guy that you would want. And I think that there are a lot of ways that you can dress that are definitely something that you would still love and like to wear, but that maybe leans more toward the kind of thing that your perfect guy would be attracted to.
My perfect guy is attracted to watching me eat pizza in a single sitting and sleeping. So I don't know about you. I mean, eating pizza makes me happy. Does it make you happy?
So taking a look at your closet, sifting through, finding the kind of clothing that you think would reflect well on you if you were to go out and try to meet someone is a good idea. And if it's something that you really do like, and if you only fill your closet with things that you enjoy, then even once you've met the right guy and you guys are together, you still have this closet full of clothing that you know he'll love and you like too. So it's not to say that you should absolutely upend your sense of style. It's to say, take your sense of style and kind of narrow it, use it to attract the kind of guy that you are really looking for.
I'm attracted to the Kool-Aid man. If I start dressing in glass bowls and filling them full of red liquid, will I attract the Kool-Aid man? Am I dressing for the dream man I want? If I dress up as a cheeseburger, will I attract a cheeseburger? Will I, Abby? Will I? Tell me more.
My last piece of advice is to either become friends with people who know you really well, even if they don't share your values, but would be good at setting you up with someone who does, or people who do share your values so that the people that you're hanging around with and the people who might be brought into your circle would be someone who you could end up with. So let's talk about option A.
Yes. Dump the responsibility of finding you a mate on your friends. They're going to be great judges of character when half of them probably aren't good judges of character themselves.
If you have a friend who knows you really well, who respects you and respects your values, even if they don't share them, then that person could absolutely set you up with someone who would be good for you and who you would want to be with, because this friend knows you well enough to find that guy for you. The reason I say that is because in my experience, my husband and I had a mutual friend who does not really share our values, but who really respected where we came from and respected our views. So he set us up even though he didn't share them, because he knew us well enough to do that.
That's because your friend respects the women and doesn't think that they're housewives, and respects you enough to find you a guy that does respect the women because he's a simp and you're Ben Shapiro's sister. Simp. You're married to a simp. I'm so sorry.
So finding those friends who really know you and care about you and want you to end up and be happy with someone is a really, really good way to attract that right kind of guy, because someone's looking out for you. And that is so important when it comes to dating. And then the other thing you can do is just spend time around your friends who you do love their values.
Did your husband see what's on the internet? Does he know?
And who could theoretically not even set you up, but just bring someone into the friend circle who shares your values and who you might be attracted to. Because you'll attract the people who you also spend time with, because they'll just be in your friend circle, in your friend group, kind of more in your life, just the way that you live it. So if you find that you are spending time with people who really don't share your values, and
if you're spending time with people who don't share your values, why the fuck are you hanging out with them? I particularly don't want to hang out with a bunch of right-wing assholes. So, I mean, particularly, I'm not going to go out of my way to hang out with a bunch of people who are like, I voted for Trump and hate the gays. So, I mean, particularly, yeah. I mean, if you're hanging out with people who don't share the same values as you, like, that's cool and dandy, and I'm glad that you guys can be civil, but for most people, that's not really how it works. So, I mean, props to you, but no need to gloat, friends.
Don't know you that well either, you're probably not going to meet that many people who do share your values and the kind of guy that you would want to attract.
Sounds like the kind of guy you want to attract is a mushy pillow man. I'm going to change everything about myself so you are more attracted to me. Everything. I'm going to put more clothes on because you think that I'm wearing not enough clothes in my beautiful photo of long boots.
But being in a group of friends who do share your values is going to up your chances of meeting that kind of guy that you would want to attract. And of course, if you
I'm sure your brother's got plenty of them.
Have girlfriends who are dating guys that you like, you should always ask if they have friends, because they'll probably also have the similar values that you're attracted to. So it's really just about making it more plausible for you to meet the kind of guy that you'd want to attract by hanging around the same kinds of people. That's just one of the easiest ways for you to figure out who you really do want to be with and to make it more likely that you'll meet them. I think it's really...
Is this what normal people do? They like hang out with each other and play matchmaker with their friends? Is that am I just like too progressive to like understand how that works? I might like I don't really. So you want your friends to bear the burden of you looking for a person to be with by them setting you up on a bunch of weird dates with weird people they might think is attracted to you? Is that how that works? Are we in ninth grade? Hey Timmy, your sister Brianna's pretty hot. You think I can get a date with her? Like, is that what we're doing here? Like, why? Stop it. No, I don't like this. Go meet a person on the internet like a normal person nowadays.
Really important in life to try and...
Just for future reference, me and my husband have known each other since 5th grade, so I have no room to talk.
And do your best to make things possible. That isn't to say that dating is easy, but it is to say that when you're dating, you should try and make it as easy as possible for the right guy to find you, to be attracted to you, and for you to end up with that perfect guy for you. So putting in the effort to attract that guy is just a really good policy.
Put in lots of effort to find men. Men are so important. Find those men. Find them. Find them. Just go on out to the local get-together and convince your friends to hook you up with total strangers that might be politically rhymed to your views. Now, before we, like, continue on just really quick, I want to just point out that Abigail Shapiro is actually Jewish, and she is not Christian. No, the Shapiros are not Christian of any kind. They're Jewish. So, it's definitely the, doing the nice Jewish girl shtick. I have nothing against Jewish people. Jewish people are cool. Hanukkah sounds fun, actually. I'm not gonna lie, you get 8 days of presents. Sounds way better than a shitty Christmas. Just gonna put it out there. Christmas be disappointing. So that's this video. Why? Why is this? Stop it! Why do you exist? No. No. I liked you better in the boots. God. So we're gonna watch another video. Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm gonna take a second to look at... I think I might have a chat. I think I might have a chat. I don't know how the... let me look at the... Let me look at the video I was just watching. My own video. Well, there's only one person watching. Well, that's okay. Well, I guess I don't have a chat, so that's fine. Anyway. Oh, now we got 2 people watching. Hello? The second person watching. I don't really care that I'm streaming to no one. It's alright. Oh, fuck. Anyway. Guys, you gotta dress modestly for the man to make the marriage so you can get the pee-pee. That's pretty much what Abigail Shapiro's saying here. In order to get the pee-pee, you gotta be dressed modestly. This... Oh, God. I have to show you this soy boy of a husband of hers. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a picture of her husband. So, This absolute Chad of a man right here is Abby Shapiro's husband. Now, there's so many. When he's not with Abby, he's cheating. He's cheating on her with the husband's girl defined. Oh God. Oh, no straight man has hair like this. Or beard. Oh, honey, are you sure he's not of the rainbow kind? He's not of my peoples. Are you sure he's not part of our peoples? Velociraptor screeching. Please, God, help us. Please, God, help me. Alright, we're gonna move on. So I was gonna watch this video, but I don't think that we need to learn why success is more than a career. Because clearly your career is baking cookies and making YouTube videos of some kind. Do you have... We're gonna learn how to avoid peer pressure about being conservative. I'm gonna take a big sip of unsea juice. Maybe I need some hard pills to swallow. Oh God, it's kind of chilly in here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh.
Hello beautiful ladies, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about how to avoid being peer pressured about being conservative.
Now before I watch this video, we're just going to scroll down and read some of the comments because I haven't read any of the comments yet, and we're gonna... I know I'm signed in and you can tell what I look at, which is clearly the best of whatever because I'm signed in. We got some right opinion, some one topic at a time. Got some Pegasus, some Cecil McFly. It's almost like she's fetishizing oppression in her videos. Like she wants to be oppressed. Sis, you are a privileged, straight, white, cisgender, conservative woman. You act like this isn't the norm already. The fact that you act like you have had to live in fear of who you are is offensive to people who are truly oppressed. We're just going to go ahead and upvote that comment. Okay, thanks. 12 replies. Y'all hear some? She never tries to be oppressed. Let's downvote that comment. In a recent video of her coming out as conservative, being conservative political view, and can be changed while being gay isn't a choice, and people can be fired and shot for something they can't control. Which is true. But she uses terms to describe oppressed groups as describe herself privileged. By doing the same, she is essentially discrediting groups of people who are truly oppressed by using this as a way to make her seem like a victim. I'm a victim! I am a progressive who works for a feminist organization. My views are essentially opposite of Abby's. Regardless, I find it gross that people are posting sexually inappropriate comments on our channel as a way to critique her views. Please let's critique with the knowledge and not sexual harassment is something that all progressives should agree are not accessible. Yeah. Don't be over here sexually, being weird and gross to Miss Abby here. I mean, we can lightly joke that she's very hot. We can make jokes about that and her lovely outfit, but we are not going to be making her feel gross about herself. That's just not fair. Because as a woman, I don't fucking like that shit. This comment right here, you act like being conservative is oppressive. Is it? Is it? Welcome to Clown World. Some of these comments are like, you have not been oppressed. I don't understand your oppression. You feel so oppressed. I'm so oppressed. I've decided to become modest and conservative. So oppressed. I'm so fucking oppressed.
I want to preface this video by saying that this isn't about talking to your friends and listening to them and hearing arguments from the other side and not allowing yourself to actually listen. This is about being peer pressured about your views because people call you a bad person for having them. I think it's a wonderful and very important thing to have conversations with people across the aisle so that we can learn about other people's positions and all of that. So I do think it's important to engage with people on the other side, but if people are just going to demonize you or villainize you, I don't think that that's fair, and that would be considered, in my book, peer pressure.
Please don't villainize my political stance, because my political stance literally leaves out large groups of minorities and large groups of actually fucking oppressed people that aren't... Why? Don't be a conservative. Can I tell you something? You can have conservative values while caring about other people. I'm just gonna put that out there. You can have conservative values and care about everyone. Absolutely fucking every person that walks this earth. Trans, gay, straight, cis, babies, people of color, people from Europe, Asians, everyone. Literally. I don't give a shit. Pink, purple, blue, green. Listen, we respect everyone. You can be conservative and have modest values and hold traditional values while still caring and respecting every fucking person in the world. And if you're just gonna sit here and be like, I didn't pass, let's continue.
So I have a whole list of ways that you can protect yourself from being peer pressured by people who have different views than you do and who are making you feel bad about your conservative views.
You should feel... Your views are bad and you should feel bad.
So let's get into it. The first thing to do is to arm yourself with the arguments.
Argue with facts and logic. She's literally, right here. Pianos don't care about your feelings. Atheists will be destroyed by facts and logic. But please go on, Abby.
Every view you hold and have should have a basis and a foundation for why you believe it. You shouldn't have your views just because somebody told you to. You should go and study up on why you should believe that. Now, of course, your parents and the people that you trust have those views for a reason. So it's good to listen to them and hear why they think those things. But it's also really important to have those arguments and understand them for yourself. You shouldn't just willy-nilly agree to whatever anyone says who is someone that you treat as a role model. You really should take the time and take your time to learn and understand those arguments before going out into the real world and being faced with different ones. Because the thing is, news and facts will always be skewed one way or the other, and so it's always important to understand both sides. So when somebody starts saying that you're...
Okay. It's okay to have traditional views. No one's telling you can't be all cisgendered and fucking, go marry each other and die old and, the straights are all about the wife hating for some fucking reason and hating I hate my husband. And you know what? As a non-traditional married person, as I am pansexual and my husband doesn't identify with his gender, he is genderqueer, and we are a non-traditional straight passing couple, that it's a wild ride when I hear people talk about like, oh, you should want to have a family and be like this and do this and stuff like that. What about your legacy? What about you as a person? And it's just like, I want to live my life and do whatever, but I never really fit into the traditional norms of life. So it doesn't really surprise me that I don't really agree with how she's talking right here. I mean, you should really be open-minded to everyone's opinions and views, but when your opinions and views tend to be harmful towards others, particularly conservatism and Republican political aligning, or being red-pilled, or, you know, being for the red, it often, you know, comes off as, you know, closed off, not open-minded. You're not arming yourself with facts and opinions and facts and logic. Realistically, have you ever actually had an argument with a MAGA person? MAGA! Ugh, if you ever actually had an argument with a Trump supporter, it's like they don't have any information to really back up what they say when you want to have an argument with them, and they're just like, oh, I read this on the internet. And it's like, I'm really glad that you know how to read the internet, but that's not particularly true. And then you have to think about people like Ben Shapiro in general, who have really out there ideologies, who are just like, oh, the liberal agenda and this and that. And then you have to argue your politics are based off what your nut job insane brother says. And then you're trying to argue with people who have like real actual values instead of these crazy cockamamie worldviews based off, you know, your brother's ideologies. Let's continue.
You're a bad person for having conservative beliefs, and starts just spewing media facts at you which have been skewed in a certain direction and are made
fake news
for a certain position, you actually have an understanding of those statistics and understand how they've been skewed, because usually statistics can be used to prove a point. So you will have your statistics to combat those of people who are demonizing you, villainizing you for having conservative views. Having the facts, having an understanding of why you believe what you believe is always going to be the first line of defense when someone is trying to peer pressure you into a different point of view. If you understand all of the things that you believe and you have invested the time to research and actually know why you believe those things, then when somebody starts peer pressuring you into believing something else because you would be a bad person otherwise, bad person in quotation marks, you will actually have the foundation to respond. But the other part of that is that if you are in a conversation with someone who is trying to peer pressure you into a different point of view, and you don't necessarily know the answer or know of the statistics that they're bringing up, you can admit that you don't know. You can say, oh, I haven't heard that before, or I haven't read that, or I just don't know that. Don't try and fake that you've heard it before, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to have a good argument if you've never heard it before. And so it's important for you to be able to admit, hey, I've never heard that.
Just blatantly outright say that you're ignorant. I'm ignorant. I don't know. Please. But here, nowhere just does she ever say, hey, maybe you should teach me about that, or hey, maybe we should look at that together and learn together. No, my facts don't care about your feelings. My pianos don't care about your logic.
And then when you go home and you decide to look it up or research it, you will actually have that in your back pocket the next time somebody...
You know what's really fucking funny, you dumb bitch? We all have phones. We all have fucking phones. Pick up your cell phone. Here's mine right here. Ring, ring. Tap, tap. You can just Google that shit. Yeah, I know you're just sitting there looking at your phone. I know while you're sitting with your friends, drinking your fancy drinks that you saw the Pioneer Woman make on the Food Network, and you're like, oh my god, this Moscato is so tasty, and you're sitting there drinking it with your fucking phone in your face with your friends. There is no reason your ass can't take the 2 seconds to look up what the fuck you're talking about, so that way you don't look like a fucking ignorant doofus. Please go on.
He brings it up to you, and you'll be able to say, actually, I did look this up.
Yes, I did look this up many days later so I can have this argument with you for no fucking reason.
And I do understand it, and actually, here's an argument for the other side. So it is really important that you be honest with yourself.
I don't want anyone in America to have anything. Welfare? Nah, not about that. Social reform? Maybe not so much. You know what we need? Billionaires to have more money in tax breaks because the government needs more money. Okay, lady, okay. But please go on. Please go on about your conservatism.
and honest with the person that you're talking to if you didn't know what they were bringing up, because then you don't look arrogant for having tried to start a conversation and an argument on something you have no basis for. So it's always important to admit when you don't know something and then just go home and study up and read about it so that the next time it comes up, you're prepared.
Imagine going home to take all that time to fucking win an argument. Imagine taking all that time to go home and win a fucking argument. Imagine taking all that time to go home and win a fucking argument. That is... Honey, are you sure your brain is not somewhere else? When I get into like a weird like political fight with my friends, I tend to like look stuff up as I'm arguing, so that way I actually have a basis for an argument and then send them whatever I'm arguing about, because it's easier to spread the knowledge than it is to be ignorant and stupid. Like, how hard is it for you to like, oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that either, honey. I don't know why you're gonna spend almost a week researching a topic so you can go back and argue with your friends like a weirdo. Who does that? Yeah, I know that we weren't disagreeing the other day, Karen, but here's some facts.
It's always important to know what the other side is saying, so when they try to villainize you or demonize you...
Oh, you know what? What's that? We want healthcare reform. We want everyone to care about each other, and you don't? Oh, okay. Because the white people are the best people.
You actually are prepared. You've heard it before.
You're prepared to be told that being traditional is important. Ultimate Chad status.
You know what the response should be, and you're not totally taken off guard. And then in a situation where you are being peer pressured, where someone is telling you you're a bad person for being conservative, you can actually take a moment and respond because you've been prepared for that, instead of feeling so bad and guilty that someone that maybe is your friend or someone that you go to school with is calling you a bad person. It's really easy to want to...
The only reason anyone would ever call you a bad person, honey, is because your brother is a crazy nut job. Is an insane person. He absolutely believes like half of America should not exist. Your brother knocked over the sandcastle I spent all day building. I just want you to know that.
To avoid conflict by just agreeing with people. And if you agree with people...
If you just agree, if you don't agree, if you do agree and you don't agree, that's called centrism. And if you're going to have centrist beliefs, then you need to know that most of your friends are going to have some lukewarm opinions on stuff. Unless you're out here straight up arguing with liberals, going out in the streets and arguing with people a little more politically progressive than you, then, I mean, what else are you going to say? Like... No one's out here really being like, oh, yeah, you're a really bad person, you know, Abby Shapiro, for, like, you know, being conservative. That's not really what we're saying. It more seems like that you're, like, flip-flopping on the subject, considering you didn't seem like you were very like that many moons ago.
Enough over time, you may start to see that you actually start to agree with them internally and not just externally. When I was in college and in my master's and in my professional studies certificate, I constantly felt pressure to talk about my political views. And when I say talk about my political views, I mean agree with the people around me. The problem is that if you are in college with people who are actually going to become your work colleagues, it's not just, oh, people I'm hanging out with and friends who I'm never going to actually have to see them in a work environment, where in that situation you can easily remove yourself or say what you actually believe without fearing about losing job opportunities. I was working...
When you're in a workplace, people don't want to talk about politics. When I go to work, I don't want to talk politics with people. I want to go down to, you know, Brenda at the copier, and I'm going to fucking ask her. She's having a good day. I'm going to ask her if she, you know, did some shit with the grandkids, or, you know, whatever. Because, you know, Miss Old Brenda is having a nice day. I'm not out here being like, fuck Trumpy Wumpy, and, you know, down with America, because I'm at work, and I think that my colleagues will dislike me because of my political views. It's really gauche in general to bring up your political views at work. So, I mean, unless you're like really working for the government or working in politics, there is no reason for you to ever talk about your political alignment in the workplace, especially if you don't work in law or politics. It just seems kind of, I mean, if you were like out here like being like, yeah, I work for Greenpeace, and then frickin' you got right-wing politics, of course people are gonna be like, oh, that's a little weird out here that you're like doing for the people, but then you're, you know, talking about how you want to take funding and, you know, things away from them. So it,
with people who would be my work colleagues, who I would be in rehearsals with or in shows with, and I didn't want to risk my career opportunities by talking about what I actually thought about conservative politics. So often I would just agree with the people around me so that I wouldn't get into conflict with them. But after I would agree with people, I would go home, I would look up the arguments that they were saying and just continue to give myself the information so that I understood my own positions. If you just continually agree with people because you care about them and you don't want to be shunned, often you will start to see that maybe your positions will start to change because you're not backing up your own positions, you're not talking about them enough, and you're hearing such an influx of the other side calling your side and your position bad, evil even. And so you will just start to slowly, without even realizing, move to a different position. So it's kind of like in Harry Potter, you have to have constant vigilance about your own positions and reinforcing them. Now, another really important thing is being friends with the right people. Now, when I say being friends with the right people, I don't just mean conservatives. There are a lot of people who are on the left who are open to having conversations and discussions, and those people you should absolutely be friends with because those conversations are so important and will really help you develop your own views and your own positions. But there are also people across the aisle who...
Yes, argue with the left. Argue with them. Argue. Argue. Tell them. Oh shit.
Just say you're a bad person for having a different view than I do. Those people are not your friends because they actually believe that because you're conservative, you are bad. And you don't have to hang around people like that.
You know what? I have some friends. They don't agree with my political alignment, and that's fine. But I don't really care about their political alignment. Do you know why? Because assholes come in all shapes, colors, sizes, genders, and most of all, everybody's got one. So if you're an asshole, that's pretty much my take on it. If you're going to be a dick, if you're going to shove your beliefs up my ass, I'm not trying to shove my beliefs up my ass. So, I mean, regular people just don't sit around being like, ugh, what's your political alignment? Because, you know, what you... If you literally make it your entire honey, are you making this your entire personality? Who are you talking to like this?
Because, hey, we all have different views. Even people on the right have different views from each other. So if you are only friends with people who have your exact views and you're in an echo chamber, you're never actually going to strengthen your own positions, your own beliefs. And so it's important to have friends who have diverse thoughts, but they have to respect each other's opinions. And if you are constantly being villainized by the very people who you think you can trust, that's going to peer pressure you into changing your opinions because you want to fit in. So it's really important to stay friends with the people who actually want to have these conversations.
Yes, force all conversations on your friends. Only be friends with people who want to have conversations with you about politically charged things and not about what you ate for dinner the other day, Abby. Yes, those are the kinds of people I want to be friends with. Yes, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go get some friends, some libertarian friends, and we're going to all go be libertarians somewhere.
And who aren't going to villainize you for having those opinions.
Yes, my opinion is that you should change your opinion.
That are different from their own. And I think you can have a lot of different kinds of friends. You should have friends who are conservatives. You should have friends who are liberals. You just shouldn't have friends who think you're a bad person for being conservative. At the end of the day,
no one's making you feel bad about it. Who's out here making you feel bad about it? Like whoever's out here making you feel bad about it, shut the fuck up
and they would just
and
throw it
stop
out
talking
because
to
they were
them
so comfortable
and
saying
leave
it,
them
where I felt like
alone.
I couldn't even mention I was a conservative because all of these friends of mine would just think I was evil.
That's because you work in the arts. You work in music and the arts, which is predominantly gay and trans people of the rainbow LGBTQ variety, and I'm definitely one of those peoples as well. And you know, when you work with lots of those people in the arts, they tend to, you know, look down on you because you don't share their viewpoints, because a lot of people in that industry are the very same people that you try to disregard. So it doesn't surprise me that you have issues making friends with people at jobs or outings or different events, especially if you're an artist and you're out here, you know, being like, oh, I'm conservative and I gotta tell everyone and to make sure that I feel really oppressed while it happens. Honey, dude, like, stop. Being conservative is not an oppression. And you know what? The comments are right. You're not oppressed. Oh man. People are going to want to argue with you. And you are just going to have to be prepared to... Bruh. Who is just sitting around arguing with you about the fact that...
And so I never even mentioned it, and those friends truly did not last because I couldn't continue to be friends with them, especially as I started becoming more and more open and honest about my views. So surround yourself with people who are open to having conversations and not trying to peer pressure you by calling you a bad person for holding different views from theirs.
Well, realistically, the only reason that you'd be called a bad person, yet again, is you're Ben Shapiro's sister. Did you forget that? You're making this video like you're not Ben Shapiro's sister. You're literally making one of the most hated people in the entire fucking world, and you're out here pretending like you're not his sister. Like, people who have poor feelings about him aren't gonna have poor feelings about... Honey, they are. Who your brother is like a really big deal. And because of that, people are going to look down on you. People are going to think that you are a bad person for your politics because of who your brother is. Because your brother holds such bizarre, like, out there ideologies about the right wing part of the nation that you can't be out here being like, I'm so oppressed for being conservative, because you are born into a family and born, you know, existing to a person and related to a person who has dug his own grave politically. So, I mean, people are going to continuously be going out their way to legitimately, like, make you out to be a bad person because of who Ben is. Like, it's just a given, dude. Like, you can't expect everyone to be like, oh man, I'm gonna separate my view of you from your brother and blah blah blah. No, when people meet you and they realize that you're Ben Shapiro's sister, they probably fucking go to the nearest trash can and vomit, because, you know, it's not because you're gross or anything. It's literally just because you have disgusting viewpoints and disgusting ideologies.
Now, there are some times that you're going to be stuck in a situation where maybe you're at a party or you're being introduced to new people and they are going to try and engage you in a conversation where they are trying to demonize you for having a different opinion. And in those situations, you need to just change the subject. You know that they're not trying to change your mind. They're just trying to make you feel guilty. And maybe at the end of that, you would change your mind and change your position because you were peer pressured into doing it.
Nope. They're telling you to change your position because your viewpoint is disgusting. And the viewpoints that your family hold are pretty not okay. So...
that conversation is not going to be fruitful. Neither one of you is going to...
Of course it's not going to be fruitful, because your whole family is very one-sided. And that's not your fault, honey. I'm very sorry that that's just the rabbit hole you were born into. But unfortunately, people are going to have an oppositional stance on who you are and who you're related to.
Learn from the other. You're not going to hear a different side. You're only going to be called names and be called a bad person for having a conservative viewpoint. You should not be in those conversations. Just change.
Don't be in those conversations. End it right there.
Whatever you have to do so you can de-escalate that situation. Because if you're in a situation, let's say for me, if I was with work colleagues, I would simply change the subject. I couldn't leave the room. I couldn't just walk out, but I would just kind of subtly shift what we were talking about so that we wouldn't cross over into conservative politics and I wouldn't have to lie about my positions or just nod my head as they continue to talk about their views. So I would just subtly change the subject. Do the same thing if you're in that position. It's not going to be worth it.
If people are having politically charged conversations, why don't you own the conversation apparently you want to? Because clearly you want to dominate the conversation about how you're conservative. That's clearly what's going on. If I'm quiet, I'm not thinking. Dude, if you're gonna fucking be a bitch, own it up like a bitch. That's just straight up what it is. If you're gonna fucking act like a bitch, own it up. That, honey, if you're gonna have a shitty... if you're gonna have a shitty viewpoint, then you're gonna have a shitty viewpoint. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
For you to engage. And you can usually recognize those kinds of conversations when someone is starting to use words about conservatives as a group, if they're saying that people are bad, if they're villainizing or demonizing those on the other side of the aisle, instead of just talking about the ideas. The ideas are much more interesting at the end of the day than the people who hold them. So if you are having a conversation with someone and it's about the ideas, you usually can have a really fruitful conversation, even if it's someone who has a totally different view than you do. But if it's somebody who is really trying to demonize the people who hold those ideas, it's just not going to be worth it. And the last thing to remember is remember why you're not giving in to peer pressure. It is so hard when you are in a position where all of the people that you know, care about, hang out with, have a different view than you do. And it feels like it would just be easier to give in and say, I don't want to be conservative anymore. It's just too hard. But there's a reason that you hold the views that you do. You believe in the truth. Not his truth, not your truth, but the truth. And you believe in values that make this country great, and maybe your faith bolsters those values as well. And those things are incredibly important and are so worth it, even when it's hard, even when you feel like you have to just keep your mouth shut. Because at the end of the day, your conservative values and your conservative beliefs and your conservative ideals are going to give you so much more happiness in the long run. And you will find that bolstering your views instead of giving into peer pressure when somebody calls you a bad person will also give you much more integrity. You're staying true to what you actually believe instead of just giving up so that you're not called names. And if you hold these conservative values for a reason, you should stick to them and maintain them because
yeah, own that shit. Own that shit like the bitch you want to be. Bitch made. That's what I'm saying. Own that shit. If you're gonna be conservative and you are going to try to be like, oh, I'm so impressed with my opinions. I'm dying. If you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna be conservative, blah, 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 then, I mean, you gotta own how you feel about, you know, you need to own your own political alignment, because if you're just gonna be out here making fucking fights for no one, I mean, no one's really peer pressuring you to become a liberal or to become part of the left or anything like that. Realistically, no one's pressuring you at all. But you need to realize why some people might really be against what you're fucking spewing right now, because like, oh Lord. We're going to watch another video, and we're going to watch this 2-minute and 54-second video. That's going to be our next video. I feel like I got cancer watching this girl. Oh my god. Oh my god, guys. I'm just going to go to the stream here. We're just gonna I'm trying to make me bigger. I mean, realistically, I mean, everything she's just telling you is like, it's, Abby, girl, what you doing? Like, I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Guys, don't argue with people against your own politics. Don't. Good Lord. Good frickin' Lord. Good Lord. Good Lord. We're gonna watch another video. I need a sip of unsea juice. Sorry, I'm gonna try to make me bigger. There we go.
You did the research so that you
This guy thought I was streaming on YouTube naked. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Lol, no. So the next video we're gonna watch is called Ladies Stop Hooking Up. Stop it. Just don't do it. Stop it. Get some help.
Hello, beautiful ladies, and welcome to today's video, where we're going to be talking about why you should stop hooking up.
Now, we're going to go right into the comments. We need some music for this. We need some... My problem with this video is she's only addressing women. If she thinks this is a problem, she should address men too. Why are all this ladies' ads like body shaming and why it's okay? And she's making a face like... Marriage isn't everyone's life goal, girl. I'm a Jewish wife and this video is heavily lacking any kind of argument for your point. You used an ice cream analogy to prove a point, which doesn't work. Your ice cream metaphor is more analogical to someone who has a sex addiction, and having sex is so much that's interfering with everyday tasks. Premarital sex does not equal too much sex. Here's a better analogy. You know how you see a new flavor of ice cream at the ice cream store, and you ask for a sample? That's how you could end up choosing the correct flavor. So you end up blindly buying a cone of vanilla that you hate. Ladies, let's stop telling each other what they can and cannot do to themselves. Look, hon, we get it, your life's dream to be a 50s housewife and bathe every morning in your internalized misogyny, but try to comprehend that not all women are carbon copies of each other, okay? Or let women make the choice that they want as long as they aren't harming anyone when doing so. 28 replies. Exactly, I just looked at her dislike ratio. Woof! Woof! Ouch! That hurts. That frickin' hurts. Guys. Let's scroll down a little bit further. So guys can hook up, but we can't. Your name is sexism to me. Imagine thinking your opinions aren't just opinions, they are actually universal truths that everyone in the world should agree with. Alright, enough of that. Enough of that. Okay.
If you're a woman in 2020, you've heard you need to be empowered.
Yeah, I
do.
You. Go
the
fuck yourself.
patriarchy is holding you back.
It is.
Sleep with who you want, when you want.
I will.
But this is a bunch of lies. Maybe
No,
you
it's
want to
not.
hook up
Go
with a
fuck
guy
yourself.
because you care about him, and you don't want to let him get away. Sleeping with him is the easiest way for him to take you.
If I don't want him to get away, I'll just tie him up with some duct tape and, keep him trapped in my basement forever, Honey, girl, what are you doing? You could be having all the men you want.
You and your feelings for granted. Holding out will tell you whether he's willing to wait, and will tell him that you're worth waiting for.
My vagina is just like all of the other vaginas in the world. But don't worry, guys. My vagina is specifically special. And you know what? Only one man can grace the inside of it. Realistically, when I see marriages like this, this is the only person my mom's ever known, it usually doesn't end too well.
I've seen it happen before. Maybe you want to have sex with a guy you really like and can see having a future with.
Oh, then you should, by all means, just do whatever the fuck you want. Just please have sex with him. Jesus Christ. Go and do the pee-pee. Touch the pee-pee.
Hooking up with him could mask all of the problems in your relationship that would lead to your eventual breakup and just prolong the inevitable.
That's not really how relationships work. Nobody's over here being like, oh yeah, sex 24/7. I need woman give puss. What? No.
Sex will only muddy the waters and prevent you from making a clear-headed decision.
Guys, I can't make a clear-headed decision when there's some pee-pee inside me. Sorry, guys.
Maybe you want to have sex with someone because you're lonely.
You don't say. That's pretty much why a lot of people have sex.
And it will fill up the time until you meet the right person.
Oh, you're not wrong. Lots of people do it. And you know what? Lots of people do it successfully. So please continue.
Having sex with the wrong person is the easiest way to prolong your loneliness, since you'll...
Having sex with the wrong person. Are they bad in bed? Are you trying to say something, Abby? Are you trying to say something? You're telling me you're Chad of husbands? You're Chad, absolute Chad man of a husband, is all you'll ever need? There are no other peepees in the world for you?
You'll be too distracted to find Mr. Right.
I'm too distracted by the peepee. I'm gonna tell you something. As an adult entertainment person, I am not distracted by penises. In fact, I am so disengaged, and I so don't care about them so much that I literally just don't have time to be hypnotized by the lights and glitter and glam of dick pics on Instagram. Jesus.
Maybe you want to have sex because, hey, it's fun.
It is. Wow. You just hit the nail right on the head, Abby. Thanks. Thanks for telling me.
You know what's not fun? STDs, pregnancy scares, waking up next to someone...
Why are you not using a condom? Why are you not on birth control? And why are you with somebody who's trying to pump and dump you unless you're into that?
You have no emotional connection with, and wasting your time.
Casual sex, you're not... Okay, Abby. Okay.
Now let's get the record straight. I'm not saying sex is bad.
Oh, I know you're not. Do we need to bring up the photo again? Do we need to bring it up? Abby, don't make me do it. Don't make me do it, Abby.
In fact, sex is wonderful. But
oh, I know. There's plenty of pictures of you enjoying it on the internet.
Sex with the wrong person is not.
Yeah, because then they put all your pictures on the internet.
Sex by itself is nothing. It's regret when the act is done, and sadness knowing nothing else will come of it. Love, marriage, a family, a future, all fit in with sex and make sex so much more than a physical act. You know how you crave ice cream, but if you ate ice cream all the time, your healthy lifestyle would go out the window? It's the same with sex. That healthy lifestyle you want disappears when you have sex with anyone and everyone, wherever and whenever. There's a reason that women who wait until marriage to have sex are happier on average than women who do not. A good guy will wait for you, no matter what. A bad guy won't. When you wait, you respect yourself and your body enough to share it with someone on a healthy timeline. You're just waiting to have that ice cream until the moment is right. So listen up, ladies. Let's be...
You're waiting for that right moment from the ice cream is right, but realistically, in the real world, ice cream comes in dozens of cartons and is mass manufactured, just like the amount of men in the world. So, honey, you can have your fucking cake and eat it too.
Be classic. Stop hooking up. It might be harder now, but it will be better in the long run. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please,
Guys, don't, no hooking up. Don't hook up ever. Don't think about it. Don't think about the pee-pee. Don't put the pee-pee near your face. Don't put it on your mouth. Don't put it in your, in your lady parts. Don't do the pee-pee. Don't do the pee-pee. Sorry, I'm answering a... Alright.
subscribe to my channel and blog if you have.
Subscribe to my channel. Give me money, even though I clearly don't fucking need it. I mean... You should give me money instead, because I need it. So we're just going to take a little break for a second, so I can get up and stretch my legs. Play a little bit of some of my favorite jams.
Hardcore.
I know this pretty girl, always think about her. When she says I do me, butterflies go right through me. And when I see her dancing, wanna take a chance in getting a little closer and maybe get to know her. I know this pretty girl, always think about her. When she says I do me, butterflies go right through me. And when I see her dancing, wanna take a chance in getting a little closer. I know this pretty girl, always think about her. When she says I do me, butterflies go right through me. And when I see her dancing, wanna take a chance in getting a little closer and maybe get to know her. I know this pretty girl, always think about her. When she says I do me, butterflies go right through me. And when I see her dancing, wanna take a chance in getting a little closer and maybe get to know her. I know this pretty rainbow, 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 rainbow.
back.
you, 'cause you're the girl for me, it's true.
Alright. Simps be simpin'. Simps be simpin'. Now, we're going to watch one more video before we get out of here. I want to thank everybody who has been nice enough to even poke your head into the stream, which I'm going to look at the analytics of that now. Just to see whoever's been watching the entire time. Will you be an awesome person and just kind of just kind of say hi in the chat? I want to know who the two people who are watching. If you could be really awesome and just say hi in the chat, that'd be great. Just so I have some kind of chat. Seems to be simping. Oh, no. I'd really appreciate if you could just, quick hi or bye. If you like what I do, feel free to donate to the stream. You can cash at me, directly cash at me whatever the fuck you want. Send whatever message you want. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can go down in the link below and join my Patreon. I might edit this video to include my Discord link, so you can join my Discord server. And you can follow my Twitter, where I will upload stream updates and talk about what I want to talk about. I know that I'm not very good at the reaction. I'll get better over time when I have more people to play off of and people to talk to and, all sorts of stuff, which I really hope. I got 3 new subscribers and nobody downvoted me. I got no thumbs down, so that's pretty good. So we're gonna watch one more video before we get out of here. Simps be simpin'. We're gonna watch one more video before we go. And the video we are going to watch is oh my god. Stop texting me. Whoever you are, please stop texting me. Oh, then stop texting me. If you've been watching this, stop texting me. I'm busy. Okay, thanks. Fuck. Simps be simpin'. The last thing we're gonna... Okay, so the last video we are going to watch is 10 things you should know before becoming a wife. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because we're about to learn what it's like to be a wife.
Hello, beautiful ladies, and welcome to today's video, where we're going to be talking about 10 things you should know before becoming a wife.
Okay, here we go. What kind of music should I play this time? Let's play some Sims music. Let's play some Sims garden music. Anyone else keep getting ads from this and decided to finally click on it just to read the comments? Everyone should know how to cook, because neither feminism nor sexism is gonna feed you when you're hungry. Take a shot every time she nervously laughs off a genuine issue, you'll die. Girl, I have blocked you. I have clicked on the stop seeing this ad a million times. Stop paying to get your videos seen. All you're doing is attracting people who don't like your videos. This makes me not want to get married even more. Every time she laughs, she sounds like her oppressive husband is holding a gun behind the camera. Why is this being advertised to me? I don't like to see this mess. The fact that she's telling young women that they need to shave their legs to be validated. Honey, grow that hair. I don't give a shit. Become a bear. I don't give a fuck. Being married is probably this whole girl's personality. Disgusting. Okay, but we're not going to talk about how she said a house lived in by a woman in regards to female, but mentioning the male, she said his home, it's the female's home too, sweetie. Ben, I'm sorry, but that wig doesn't suit you. This comment right here. Big comment energy. Hold on, I'm gonna make it bigger. Hold on. Where is it? This is a great way to make all your comments at the bottom. Where is it? Ben, I'm sorry, but that wig doesn't suit you. You get a high five for that one. Good job. Turns out she's a man dressed like a woman trying to make marriage great again. Oh, God. How to become a maid. YouTube, here, watch this. Me, I'm only a teenager. Why? Watch it. Sis, I'm sorry, but you're brainwashed into thinking that women should just be housemaids. And for men, you are for yourself, not others. We're gonna play this Victorian garden music over her talking, so let's do this.
When I got married, there were so many things people told me to look forward to, and they were totally right. Everything is so lovely about being married. But I also know that there were a few things that I wish that someone had told me before I got married, and I thought I would share with you guys some of those thoughts. So let's get started. The first thing that I want to talk about is the first year of marriage. Now, everybody kind of tells you that you're still in the honeymoon phase during that first year of marriage, and it's true. But one of the things that I noticed is that pretty much on our 1-year anniversary, I turned to Jacob and I said, oh my gosh, did our marriage just get so much easier? Now, marriage isn't hard the first year, but what it is that it's just a lot of adjustments. You're getting used to living with a new person. You have to get used to their habits, what they like eating, how they like to keep the house clean. And it's so much to get used to all at once. And
It's so much to get used to all at once. Honey, have you never lived on your own? Oh my God, I have to do the laundry. Oh my God, I have to clean the floor. Oh my God, the dishes need to be done. Bro, have you never lived on your own?
can cause a little bit of friction. So when you're getting married, recognize that maybe the first year isn't going to just be daisies and roses all the time. There are times where you're going to be just trying to adjust to living with another person all the time. The second thing that every woman should know.
You wouldn't have to adjust to living with another person all the time if you were in a relationship living together before you got married, like normal people.
Before getting married is that your cleanliness level is going to be different than your husband's. Now, for me,
this is true, but not really.
Jacob, the thing for us is that I love when everything is in its place. I like when things are organized, when everything is put away. He doesn't like dust, so I don't like clutter, and he doesn't like dirt.
I don't like dirt. Most likely because his mommy was cooking him tendies until you married him. Remember, honey, you're not that much old. You're literally younger than me. So clearly his mommy was making him tendies not that long ago. So are you really sure that he don't like the dust? Or are you just thinking that his mama cleaned his room?
So for me, that evens out pretty well.
If you see prior pictures of her bedroom from her naughty photos, her bedroom is a disgusting mess. So for her to be like, I like cleanliness, is hilarious. Hilarious.
But what it does mean is that he doesn't really mind clutter. So if he comes home and he puts down something on a chair, it might just stay there for a while. And that took me a little bit of time to get used to, because I would say, oh, why can't you just understand what bothers me?
God, why can't... But you're expecting straight men to do not straight men things, like throw clothes on the floor. I mean, even regular not straight men throw the clothes on the floor. Shit, even I throw the clothes on the floor. Listen, it's just a habit you have. If you're not used to fancy items and fancy things and fancy bullshit, then of course you're going to be fucking annoyed there's fucking clothes on the floor because you trip over them and shit and it's not fun. Don't get me wrong, I hate that shit too, but bitch, you are not special because your husband throws the clothes on the floor. Shit, mine does that too. No.
But at the same time, I don't really understand what bothers him, so
I don't understand what bothers him, but I won't ask him. Dude, ask your husband what bothers him. Are you so afraid that your Chad of a gay husband is going to beat you or some shit? Like, what am... What?
Be forgiving of each other and just recognize that you're going to want things to be clean in a different way than he is. And that's not a bad thing. You'll just even out and you guys will kind of take responsibility for different things around the house. Now, another funny thing, for example, is that my husband, and I've heard this is common, always puts his clothes next to the hamper. Not in it, next to it.
Wow, you've discovered what every man has ever done forever in a lifetime. They don't put the clothes in the hamper. They never do. None of them ever do. Not a single man with a pee-pee, a single penis-carrying cisgendered man puts the clothes in the fucking laundry basket. Not a single one. No straight man is gonna... No, just doesn't happen. You are not special. You can't be like, oh, that's quirky. It's not quirky, honey. It's... All men do it. You're not... Do you want ass pads for your man being a man? Like, what do you want me to say?
I always laugh about that. He did explain the...
I have to pick up after my husband like I'm his mommy. So quirky and funny.
Reason to me, which is that we have two hampers and he never knows which one is whites and which...
You actually separate clothes by color? People do that.
Which one is colors, and sometimes...
Oh wait, that's right, I only wear black.
I mix them up because I like to just sort them when I get down to the laundry room. But it's still like, just put it in the hamper. It'll be fine. So there are all these kinds of things that you just find out when you get married, and they work themselves out. The third thing is that take the time before you're married to learn how to cook. If you don't know how to cook now, then maybe take some time and watch some YouTube videos or ask your mom and get some recipes under your belt. Now, not all wives cook. I can totally respect that. I just love cooking for my husband. I think it's a really nice thing to do. And I found that there are certain recipes that I'm really glad I knew before I got married, because I can just throw them in the pot or throw them in the pan and I don't have to think really hard about it. Now, there are times that it's also really fun to kind of explore new recipes after you're married because you figure out what your husband likes. But just having a few things that you just know you can cook up in a few minutes is the best thing, because you don't have to worry as much about trying to figure out something on the fly. My fourth piece of advice for women who are about to get married is be mindful of each other's space. Now, not everybody needs space, but most people need at least a little bit of it. And at the beginning of your marriage, it's gonna feel like you want to...
Space. I am going to stress this. She is very correct. You do need space, because if you don't, you end up wanting to rip your significant other's fucking face off. It's just a proven point. Like, if I don't have space for my husband, sometimes I just want to punch him into a fucking... Just want to punch him. We don't condone domestic violence on this channel, but you know what the fuck I mean. When your significant other's being hella annoying and you just are like, go in another room. Like, that's what I mean. Like, that's the space that they're talking about. And that's fine. Like, you need your space, but don't particularly think that you're just gonna designate a section of the house just for you to do whatever the fuck that you're doing, because not everybody is well off enough or lucky enough to have those accommodations. So, you mean, take up different hobbies. Guys, have your own friends, do your own thing. things, but don't particularly think that, you know, we're gonna just live this bougie lifestyle of like, oh, I live in a giant multi-million-dollar home. If I work hard enough, I can have enough like rooms to fill it with my garbage sewing and craft projects until I die. Basically, that's what you're trying to say. Listen, we're not all gonna become crazy cat ladies like you in the next 20 years. I need my rooms.
And be together all the time. But if your partner needs a little bit of space, that's okay and totally normal. It's nothing against you. He still loves you. And if you need your space, that's also totally normal.
Honey, you're going to get all the space you need being that traditional housewife going to the grocery store to buy groceries, because that's the only outing you're going to get.
People just sometimes need to recharge, and they can't be around each other 24/7. So if your husband says he just wants a few minutes to read or play a video game or whatever it is, just be respectful of that, because it's so...
Be respectful of that. Because realistically, most men have really hard addictions to video games. And realistically, a lot of them spend an awful lot and god-awful time fucking ignoring their wife for video games. And I'm not saying that mine does that. I'm just saying that if you're out here being like, yeah, I totally condone you playing video games all day while you do nothing to help me out, and I should give you your space. It's okay to want space. It's okay to want space. But the way you're saying is that I should just totally disregard anything that I'm doing or want because my husband wants to do something and needs space. What about me? What am I gonna go do? What happens when you in a living situation where that's not feasible, where you can't have that kind of shit, where he can't just go run away and play video games? What happens then? What do you do now? You're not really answering my questions here, Abby.
So easy to feel offended when someone says that they don't want to be around you for a minute. But when you're married, you're around each other all the time. And it's a totally different thing than when you're dating, and when you're together, you're really together. When you're living together and you're married, you're with each other even when you're not with each other. So it's just really important to recognize when you each need a little bit of space. Number 5 is to take care of your looks. Now, again, this might be, I guess, sort of controversial, but I don't think it is. I think it's really easy when you get married, because you're with this person and you know that they love you, to just not take care of yourself as much. And even for your own sake, that can start to feel a little bit bad. So for me, it's important to, shave my legs. Well, now I epilate, but when I shave. And to get my hair cut, and to keep up with my makeup routine, and just to keep yourself looking nice, because it means something to your husband and it'll mean something to yourself. And at least for me, I feel so much better when I just take a few minutes in the morning, do my hair, do my makeup, put on a nice outfit, and keep myself looking nice and put together. And I think that husbands really appreciate that too, because they don't want to ask you to put on makeup. And a lot of men don't like makeup. My husband actually does it, but they don't want to ask you to kind of shave your leg.
Don't put on makeup. Men don't like that shit. Of course men don't like that shit. No man wants to fucking watch you put on makeup, you dumb hoe. Exactly. I put on makeup because I think it looks fucking cool, and I think that I look badass. I don't put on makeup to fucking appease men. Fuck men. Fuck them to the fucking death. That's I'm so sorry, that's not really how I feel. I'm totally pro men. Honey, I do not put on shit to appease the penis. I do not. Don't say things like this. You should be put together because the men like it. Well, you know what? Abigail? I like it. I like it more than the men like it. So, you know what? What's up? Abby, my girl, what are you doing? Ouch, no. No, Abby. Why?
Legs. I mean, if your legs aren't shaven, they're not going to say anything maybe, but they also...
I'm going to be honest, when I don't shave my legs, I don't even fucking notice most of the time. I might notice some outlying hairs, but that's just me.
Would maybe like it for you to shave. So keeping those things in mind and just trying to look nice for your partner as if you're still dating is a really nice thing to do. Number 6 is it's okay to change for your partner. I know, how crazy is that to say? Now, let me be clear what that means. When you get married, your partner really wants the best for you and for the life that you're building together. And sometimes they may notice things about you that you could work on. And if they ask you to work on something, that's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that they don't love you for who you are. It means that they love you for who you are and who you could be, the best version of yourself. And I think that the best marriages and partnerships and friendships are the ones where you're accountable to each other. So when I say change, I really just mean let your partner come to you and tell you that there are certain things that they're noticing that you could do better. That's okay. And maybe try and implement them. Of course, you have to be respectful to each other. And of course, you can do the same thing to your partner. You can say there are certain things that I think that you should improve on. But those are things that shouldn't be off the table. You should definitely be able to talk to your partner, and he should be able to talk to you about how the two of you can improve together as a team and as individuals. My 7th piece of advice is to make your house a home. Now, it is the nicest feeling in the world, at least for me, to go to Home Goods and TJ Maxx and home decor stores and just take my time to pick out things and decorate my house. And I think that my husband really appreciates that. Even if he doesn't really notice it at first, there's something about being in a home that is lived in by a woman. There's a really feminine vibe that...
This isn't the woman's home. It's a home lived in by a woman. Lived in. It's not your home, too, bitch. It's a home lived in by a woman.
You bring to your home that your husband wouldn't have without you there. So take advantage of that. Make his house your house and make it a home that he's so happy to come home to because it's warm and loving and cozy.
You should cater to men because it makes them feel good. Oh. I got the simpery hitting me up. They're all hitting me up.
My 8th piece of advice is that you can still be friends with your single friends. I've heard from a lot of...
Be friends with your single friends for some fucking reason. I mean, yeah, that's normal advice. You can be friends with whoever the fuck you want to be friends with. Who cares if they're single or not? I have plenty of single friends.
Single women, that they get really nervous when their friends get engaged and are getting married because they don't know if they're still going to be able to maintain that friendship. I can say from my experience being married, I have friends who are not married and we have definitely stayed in touch. My husband has friends that are not married and they've definitely stayed in touch. And taking the time to reach out to those single friends will really mean a lot to them and to you. Just because they're at a different point in their lives doesn't mean that you can't still stay friends. You can learn something from each other, which I think is so important. And so I love being friends with everybody who I knew before I was married. So just taking the time to show your single friends that things don't have to change. Of course, they're going to change a little bit because you're going to have to go cook your husband dinner or hang out with him or you're going to be on date night or whatever it is. But your actual relationship with your girlfriends doesn't have to change and you can still go out with them every once in a while on your own. You don't necessarily...
You have to stay home and make your husband dinner. Like that motherfucker isn't a grown-ass man who can make his own goddamn food. Is he gonna starve to death if you're not there to feed him? Or are you just too fucking delusional or bimbo-tastic to just make food later when you see him? Like, what is wrong with you?
Necessarily have to take your husband along and have her be a third wheel. You can still go out with your girlfriends, just the two of you, and that's totally fine. Number 9 is you should let your home be welcoming to your husband's friends. Now, your husband is probably going to want his friends to come over sometimes, and you don't want it to feel like he's not allowed to, because then he'll feel like he has to leave his home to have his male friendships. And I think it's a really nice thing for a man to be able to bring home his friends, for you to be a part of that. My husband is so wonderful about this. When he has his friends over, he actually invites me to be included in board game nights or video games or whatever it is, so that
I gotta be one of the boys because I'm not allowed to have my own goddamn friends, which is very fucking clear. Can't have any of my own friends now that I'm married. Gotta only be friends with the boys. Gotta play the video games and the board games. Like, I don't got no other fucking thing going on for myself. Honey, stop it.
I can participate, but there are times where I don't want to participate, and that's totally fine. And I don't mind going in the other room and reading a book, and he can hang out with his guy friends. But I want him to feel like our home is really our home, so he can bring his friends and I can bring my friends, and both of us feel like it's totally welcoming space for both of us, and not a place where you're not allowed to bring home people that you enjoy their company and friends that you want to play cards with.
Wow. You know what? I've played cards with my friends in shittier apartments with nothing in them. And you know what? They still hung out with me and were still my friends. So, honey, the amount of shit you have in your house and how nice your house is has zero to do, or how clean and inviting your home is. It has nothing to do with the people you surround yourself with.
And stuff like that. So just make your home as welcoming a space for both of you that you can. Number 10, and my last piece of advice, is that it's totally normal to argue. Just make sure that your arguments are for a purpose. Don't argue with each other and start getting on each other's case and criticizing each other about who you are and just yelling for no reason. Arguments should always have a purpose, and they should always be used to help your relationship grow and to come to a resolution. Don't just fight to fight, and never say something that you can't take back. So always be very mindful in an argument not to say something in the heat of the moment that your partner can't unhear. It's really hard when you are upset to keep that in mind, but it's very important. The worst arguments are the arguments where you are just tearing down each other. That's never useful, and I don't think that that is a good idea in marriage. But if you have to disagree
If you disagree about something, you disagree. That's the end of it. That's how it works.
about a big topic, that's normal and okay. And it's also normal to disagree about something little, as long as you guys are respectful during that disagreement. So don't feel like everything is just going to be easy breezy and no arguments ever, and you only talk about rainbows and butterflies. No, there are times that there are going to be disagreements, and that's totally fine, but just keep them respectful and it'll all work out. What are your guys' pieces of advice from being married, from dating, just anything that has to do with relationships and stuff like that? I'd really love to hear. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please subscribe to my blog and my channel if you haven't already. Head over to my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook and follow me there. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I now have cancer. Guys, I'm now a conservative. Does she live in the Stone Age? Like, is this the dark times? Like, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our live dive into Classically Abby. Oh, God. I hope that you enjoyed my reactionary stuff to it. This stream will be archived unless I get banned worldwide for playing a few silly jams and tunes. If you like what you saw, feel free to send me a Cashapp link. Cashapp is in the description. If you like what I do, feel free to subscribe to Patreon, where I will be reading books, I will be giving them away, and you can get a piece of that. Feel free to follow me on the Bluebird app and start a Twitter war with me. Or eventually I'll be editing this to include my Discord link,